Hi, it's Dominic, and if you are into AI agents, AI influencers, and the latest in AI, you are in the right place. Let's dive in. In today's video, I want to show you how you can use a simple n8n workflow to automate the production of your AI influencer images and videos. All you need is a simple image idea, a LoRA of your AI influencer, and of course access to n8n, which can also be used completely for free on your local computer. Once you have that ready, you can enter any image idea and the workflow will create within seconds an image, a video, and also a short text message that you can send together with the image or video to whoever you want, for example a subscriber on Fanvue. So if you are looking for ways to automate your AI influencer content production, this video is for you. So let's waste no further time and jump to my screen. Good, here we are at n8n, and this is already the entire workflow. As you can see, it's quite simple, not too complex, but it is truly powerful. And I will provide that workflow as a download in my free AI course. So if you just want the workflow without any further explanation, just subscribe there, get the workflow, and you're good to go. But for those who wish a little bit of explanation, what is actually happening here, I created that video. So let's get started. As you can see, we have the three major parts here. We have the image creation part, we have the video creation part, and we have the message creation part. And at the end of each of these parts, we have a so-called Google Drive step where we store the result in a Google Drive folder. So when we run the workflow, in the end, everything will be stored in a Google Drive folder. And as you can see here in the very beginning, everything starts with a so-called form submission trigger. And I will show you what I mean with that. When we execute the workflow, there is a little pop-up showing up that I designed. And it says prompt, always include the trigger word Ashley. This is basically the image idea. What kind of image do we want to create? And then we have the opportunity to also decide if we want to turn that into a video, yes or no. And why did I add that option? Pretty simple. Video creation is not as cheap as image creation, and because of that, I don't want to create a video every time I run that workflow. Sometimes I just want to create images, and because of that I added that option here. Later we will also test that out, then you will see how everything comes together, but for now just keep in mind that we have that little form submission, and this is basically starting the entire workflow. So here our data is coming in, our image idea and the selection if we want a video, yes or no, and then the workflow starts. And now I prepared a little slide to show you what exactly is happening at which point here in the workflow. You see, this is the exact workflow that I built at n8n, but now I can better explain to you what is happening when. We have our form submission, and when we send in our image idea and we made our selection, the workflow starts. And in the first step, we use exactly that element, a so-called HTTP request, to reach out to our own LoRA hosted at Replicate. Replicate is a platform that gives us access to many different AI models, image models, video models, and many others. And here you also can train your own LoRA. And a LoRA is basically an AI image model that knows exactly how your AI influencer looks like, and you can recreate your AI influencer again and again super easily. And what we do here is that in the first step we send our image idea, for example an image of Ashley wearing a black top, to our LoRA at Replicate, and then the image gets created. And then in the next step we also use another HTTP request to get that image, and this looks like that. So we started by sending out the image prompt, and as a response we get back our image, and then we store that image in Google Drive. And in the next step there is a decision. Okay, if we selected we want a video, we go down that path and we create the video, and if we selected that we don't want a video, we go straight to the message creation part. But in case we selected the video, in the next step that LLM element will take our image idea and transform it into a video prompt. A video prompt is more or less the same as an image prompt. We just describe what we want to see in the video, but of course we also have to add some information. How much movement do we want? How should the camera be positioned, and so on. So there is a slight difference. And I instructed that LLM element to do exactly that, transform the image prompt into a video prompt. And then we come to the next element, again a HTTP request, but this time we send over our video prompt together with the image we created to a so-called image to video model. And that model is also hosted at Replicate, and it is called Kling v2.1. It's a very good image to video model, and this model allows us to transform that image we just created into a video. And we do that by sending over our video prompt, a slow and sensual video of Ashley wearing a black top. This is just an example, together with our image. Okay, and then this gets also to our Kling v2.1 model at Replicate. And then I added a so-called wait step. Why did I add that? When we start the video creation process at Replicate, this process takes between 60 to 90 seconds. And in case the video is not ready yet, but we try to download it right away, we get an error. And because of that, I added that wait step to make sure the video is ready when we want to download it. Okay, so when the 90 seconds are over, we come to the next step. And in that step, we use another HTTP request to download the finished video. Okay, you see now we have a video that is basically created out of the image we created in the first step. And once we requested the MP4 file from Replicate, we have to download the actual file, the MP4 file, to n8n, and then we can also store it in Google Drive. And parallel to that, we also have the message creation part. You see, at that point, we just split the workflow. We went down that route to create the video, but we also went down that route to create the message. And what we do here is very simple. We just use another LLM step to turn our image idea into a suitable message. And as AI influencer content is typically created for platforms like Fanvue, I instructed that element to create suitable text messages that we can send together with our image or video to subscribers on Fanvue. So this is an element that basically creates flirty messages perfectly suitable for a platform like Fanvue. And you will see in the end, when we run the workflow, how such a message looks like. And then also the message gets stored in Google Drive, and that's it. You see, the entire workflow is actually super simple. The only challenge is to find out the right data that we have to fill into these HTTP requests. And I will show you now where you find that information. Good, we are back at n8n, and as I already told earlier, if you have no idea yet about n8n and you are not familiar with HTTP requests, just download my workflow, and then you just have to switch out a few parameters to make this work for you. And I will show you now which parameters these are. In the first step, we reach out to our own LoRA trained at Replicate, and there are only two things that we have to switch out. The first thing is your Replicate API token. Down here, you have to fill in your own Replicate API token, otherwise it won't work. Important here is that between the word bearer and your API token, you add one space. Okay, so this is very important. And then there's just one more thing that you have to change out, and this is down here where it says version. Here you have to enter the specific number of your LoRA on Replicate. Okay, where do you find that number? Very easy. When you go to Replicate to your own LoRA and you go to API and then to HTTP, you find the number exactly here. Okay, we have the name of your LoRA, and then after that, make sure to copy the entire number and paste it exactly down here. And this is it. Then you can already use that workflow to create images of your own LoRA. Of course, you could also adjust the other settings. You see down here, I selected the aspect ratio, a 4:5. I selected the output format as a PNG, and some others. For example, the last one is also very important. Disable safety checker. You want to have that set to true, because otherwise you can't create spicy images. And as you want to use that for AI influencer images for platforms like Fanvue, you definitely need some spicy images, and you need to set that parameter to true. That's it for the image creation part, okay? And then there are just 3 more areas where you have to change something to make this workflow work with your own replicate AI influencer LoRA. And this is also super simple. You go here to the first HTTP request where we reach out to the video model, and here you also have to exchange the API token with your own API token, and the same goes for that step where we get the video from replicate. You also have to switch out the API token, and in the last one you also have to switch out the API token so that you are able to actually download the MP4 file, the video from replicate. In these 2 elements, I selected a very basic text prompt to create the image idea into a video prompt. And also down here, I selected a very simple prompt to create a suitable text message, for example, for Fanvue subscribers. I will put these 2 text prompts into the video description. And if you don't want to do anything, just download the entire workflow within my free AI course. Good, that's it regarding the workflow design. Now we test it out so that you see the workflow in action. And for that, we just hit here execute workflow. And I went with the prompt, a photo of Ashley wearing a beautiful office outfit, modern office background. You see, I also included the trigger word Ashley. This is super important. And for your LoRA, this is of course a different trigger word. Then I select here that I also want a video. And now one important thing. With that workflow, it allows you to create any image you want, okay? Also spicy images, NSFW images, no problem. But when it comes to video creation, Kling will sometimes not allow to create that video. And because of that, I went here with a quite moderate prompt, test it out also with spicy prompts. Oftentimes you come through and you can also create quite spicy videos. Just keep that in mind. Alright, so I sent this out now with submit, and when we go now to the workflow, we see in the first step the workflow reaches out to our LoRA hosted at replicate, and it creates our image of our model Ashley. When this is done, the image got stored in Google Drive, and then here in that step we turned our image prompt into a video prompt, and then this video prompt gets sent over to replicate to our Kling model, and now the video creation process is started. So this can take quite a while until it is done, but I come back to you when the video is finished. You see, now we jumped to the waiting step, and this step I added to just make sure that the video is actually done when we try to download it in the next step. So now it will just wait for another 90 seconds. Then we will download the video from replicate. We will also store it in Google Drive. Then we will create the message, and then we can check out the results. Great, we jump here to the download step, and then we store it also in Google Drive. Then the message gets created. It gets also stored in Google Drive. And now we're done. When I go now to my Google Drive, I already see I have 3 different files here. I will download all of them and then we can check them out. Good, so first we have the image of our model Ashley. This looks fantastic. She's in the office and yeah, looks absolutely fantastic. Then we have our video. Let's check that out. Yeah, also a good result. She's posing here in the office. Very good. And then we have our text message. Just finished a little photo shoot at the office, and I couldn't help but think of how much more fun work would be with you around. Can you guess what I'm wearing? Let's just say it's a little more sophisticated and a lot more tempting than the usual office attire. You see, it's a cheesy message that we could send with an image like that or a video like that to Fanvue subscribers, and this will of course save us a lot of time, and it's just very practical for AI influencer content creators. That's it. Now you saw the entire workflow, how we can take a simple image idea and transform it into a finished video, including a suitable message for Fanvue subscribers. And I will say it again, if you want that workflow, just subscribe to my free AI course and download it completely for free. I hope you enjoyed the video and you got a lot of value out of it. If so, make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments what you think about that workflow. I hope we see each other in the next video. Take care and goodbye.